going on, guys? This is Daniel from Valor Comic Services, and welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be doing a top 10 Amazing Spider-Man comic books, and the basis on this video isn't going to be based on value or rarity. Just going on books that I would be happy to display in my collection, much like having on the wall, or if House is on fire and I only had to go pick up 10 books, these are the 10 books that I would try to go pick up. If it was about value, then Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Fantasy 15 would just dominate the list, as well as the first 10 issues from his Amazing Spider-Man, and I'm not trying to make a list like that. Before we get into the list, some honorable mentions that definitely deserve to be in your collection is Amazing Spider-Man 316, the first full cover appearance of Venom. It features artwork by Todd McFarlane, and it's just a beautiful book, especially in high grade. The pink background really pops on it. Amazing Spider-Man 608. This is a cover that features J. Scott Campbell's Black Cat. Now, it's a pinup style, so it's a little bit different than the majority of it, but you can't deny J. Scott Campbell's talent, especially when it comes to drawing female characters, and this illustration of Black Cat really shines for that book. Number 10 on this list is going to be Amazing Spider-Man 294. This book is a huge key moment for the Spider-Man storyline. This is the death of Kraven the Hunter. Kraven the Hunter has this whole story where he goes to try to one-up Spider-Man because that's his greatest foe, that's the deadliest catch for him, and he ends up kidnapping Spider-Man. They have their whole climatic battle. He buries him alive and actually assumes the mantle of Spider-Man, runs around for a little bit and decides that there's nothing better for him to do, and ultimately kills himself. It's a really big story, and the cover is just really good. It's tough to find in high grades. On the raw copy of it right now, you can get that for around 40 bucks, so it's definitely not going to break the bank. Number 9 on this list is going to be Amazing Spider-Man 361. This is the full appearance of Carnage. Now, if you're just getting into comic books, this is a great book to pick up. It's cheap, it's iconic, and it's a great entry-level comic for you to put in your collection. It's not a whole lot much more to say other than first appearance of Carnage, huge key character, cheap, and you can't go wrong with it. Number 8, not too far from it, is going to be Amazing Spider-Man 238. This features the full appearance of Hobgoblin. It's a classic cover by John Romita Jr. where he's ripping Spider-Man's costume apart. You can see the little silhouette of Hobgoblin's face there. It's covered. It's a great cover, and especially in a high grade, it looks great. That book's gone down quite a bit, so you can get raw copies for high grade around 150 bucks, and even lower grades between $50 to $75. At number 7, you've got Amazing Spider-Man 101. This book features the first appearance of Morbius, and the cover on it's great. The story's even better. You have a great first appearance featuring Morbius, and because the movie sucked so terribly, you can get low grade copies for 100 to 150 bucks, and higher grades aren't going to break the bank either, going between $500 to $700. The placement on this book is going to surprise you, but at number 6 is Amazing Spider-Man 300. This features the first full appearance of Venom and a classic, top iconic cover by Todd McFarlane. If you start looking into the more modern era of books, it's on the same level and energy as Amazing Fantasy 15. It's one of the most homage covers of all time, and it's also one of the most graded comic books that CGC has on their census. You cannot go wrong with the book. Again, due to the current dip that we're in for collectibles, it's more affordable than it has been in the past few years. So if you don't have that book, you can possibly trade some of your bulk to acquire one. Even at a recent comic convention, I saw that book priced at a newsstand, lower grade, at 250 bucks. Can't go wrong with it. And if that's still outside your budget, you can always get $2.99, which features the first appearance of Venom, seen here in that last panel. It's a great book. Now, at number 5 on this list, we've got Amazing Spider-Man 14. This is the first appearance of the Green Goblin and one of Spider-Man's biggest arch enemies. Amazing Spider-Man 14 with Green Goblin is an iconic Spider-Man villain. It's one of his top foes. The cover art features him going right after Spider-Man. Now, low copies of this book are still maintaining at close to $1,000. You may get lucky to pick one up between $700 to $800. High grades are going to be very costly, up in the thousands. It's a great book for your collection. Number 4 on this list, I have Amazing Spider-Man number 3. This features the first appearance of Doc Ock in a very classic cover. It's a tough book to find. Amazing Spider-Man 3 is very sought after, especially for Spider-Man collectors. You have the first appearance of Dr. Octopus. You can't go wrong with it. Huge key issue. Much like Green Goblin, but more costly. Low grades of that book are still between $1,000 to $1,500, with higher grades going north of $5,000. This is a little bit of a cop-out, but to me it hits many different levels. You have Amazing Spider-Man Annual #1. This is the first appearance of the Sinister Six, where here you have arguably Spider-Man's top enemies forming an alliance together with ultimate goal to defeat Spider-Man. The cover's great, where you have all these characters right here just going for them. The Sinister Six is a storyline that people have always been fans of, especially the animated series. To me, when I was growing up, that was one of the highlights of the animated series, was that storyline. This is a book that's also gone down tremendously. We've had plenty of rumors where there's going to be Sinister Six popping up in a movie of some time. Whether that happens or not, we'll find out. You can get this book at incredible deals right now. Recently, at the same show that I saw Amazing Spider-Man 300, there was a CGC 3.5 blue label for $700. Part of me regrets not picking it up at that point. However, I already have a graded copy of the same exact grade. It was not a necessary purchase. At #2 on this list, I think this goes without question, is Amazing Spider-Man 129, the first appearance of the Punisher. This is another iconic Spider-Man cover featuring the first appearance of the Punisher, which is a must-have key issue for many collectors. It's a highly sought-after book. It's gone down a little bit. Low-grade copies, raw, between $400 to $500. High grades are still going to be close to $3,000. However, you can't go wrong with that book. Something about the yellow cover on that, where you have the silhouette of Frank Castle aiming his rifle at Spider-Man through the scope, packs a punch for a cover. Finally, at my #1 spot for the top issue out of the Amazing Spider-Man is going to be Amazing Spider-Man #50. This is one of my favorite comic book covers of all time. I love that cover. Many times I've even thought about getting a tattoo as a homage of this cover. This is also the first full appearance of the Kingpin, another top villain for Marvel, spanning across both Daredevil and Spider-Man. You cannot go wrong with this book. It's a book that I always love to see. I have a deep appreciation for it, and I'm sure many others feel the same. Let me know what you guys think of this list. If you enjoy content like this, please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment letting me know what some of your top Spider-Man key issues are. If you agree with many of the books on this list, or if you flat out disagree, what should have placed higher on my list. If you would like to see more videos in this similar style, drop a comment and let me know what series you'd like me to cover. I'd love to do it for you. At the end of the day, it's going to be your collection and ultimately your goals. So I hope you have fun collecting. Until next time, guys, be safe.